Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Disappearing Act by Catherine Steadman. In The Disappearing Act by Catherine Steadman, British actress Mia Elliott arrives in Los Angeles for pilot season, looking to grab a role that could change her career. At an audition, Mia meets Emily, another actress, and the two become friends in their shared experiences. But after Mia makes a small favor to help Emily out, Emily all of a sudden disappears. As twists and turns build, Mia realizes there is more to Emily's disappearance than meets the eye. And Mia is in a race to uncover what really happened to Emily before she too disappears. Okay, I really liked this book, yeah guys. This book definitely had quite a number of things going for it that worked for me personally and my personal interests and whatnot. Things that kind of really engaged me and hooked me. For starters, it is a mystery thriller. I do love all things mystery thrillers, and I definitely found this to be a really gripping, hooking mystery thriller. Next, author Catherine Steadman. I'm actually familiar with Catherine Steadman, even though I didn't realize it at the time when I first purchased this book. I found out sometime, I can't remember if it was maybe before I picked this book up or right after I picked the book up, but I think I was just looking up some stuff about Catherine Steadman really quickly, and I noticed people kept referring to the fact that she was an actress. And I was like, she is? So I got on IMDb, of course, and came to realize, oh, wow, I've actually seen Catherine Steadman in quite a number of movies and TV shows. And the things that quickly popped up that I definitely remember her in, she was in, like, I believe it's the last season of The Tudors on Showtime. She was in like an episode of Victoria. She was a supporting character in a season of Downton Abbey. Yeah, there were several things that I was like, oh wow, I've actually seen her in some stuff, and I didn't know she wrote novels as well. That's great. And then the next thing about this novel that I loved is that it takes place in Los Angeles and Hollywood, and it follows a British actress, Mia Elliott, who her career has kind of primarily been all about being in like costume dramas, period dramas, you know, over in the UK. So yeah, anyone who knows me, I freaking love all things British period dramas, so that instantly got me right there. And yeah, by the way, let me digress a tiny bit here. This book will definitely work as like a Netflix miniseries or something, you guys. And my perfect casting choice, I need Eleanor Tomlinson to play Mia Elliott. Go look up Eleanor Tomlinson, you guys, if you're not aware who she is, because I freaking love Eleanor Tomlinson. She's like my British period drama goddess. I love her, I adore her, so this would be totally ideal for her. But yeah, back to this book. So all of those things combined, the mystery thriller element, the fact that Catherine Steadman herself is an actress, that all of this takes place in Hollywood and following a British actress and whatnot, all of that combined really made this a compelling book to me personally. A lot of things that kind of just particularly interest me, I guess, that I navigate to. And what is just so really fantastic about this book, since author Catherine Steadman herself is an actress, and this book does revolve around the business of show business, essentially, there is just such a great legitimacy and believability to this book, because Catherine Steadman knows what the hell she's talking about. You know, she has been to auditions, she has filmed for shows and movies. She knows how the business works, how the business runs. She knows the positives and the negatives of the business. So, like I said, there is just a great degree of legitimacy and believability to this that I think really engages you, that you can kind of fall into this world and you don't feel like you're being lied to about it, I guess. And what's also great about this book, because I think for those of us who have just no interest in, you know, being in the world of show business, or or we just have no connection to that world. You know, I think many of us look at the world of Hollywood and at acting and actors and actresses. You know, we really romanticize Hollywood, and we romanticize actors and actresses, and we don't really treat them like people, you know. So this book definitely dives into the harsh realities of the world of show business, pretty much. As I mentioned, the positives and the negatives. A lot of the negatives are really gone into more than anything, because we think of Hollywood and we think of all the wealth and privilege and the glitz and glamour. But yeah, what we don't see is just how hard people have to work to get what they want. Hollywood is a vicious, cold, cruel business at times, and you got to be willing to kind of throw yourself out there. You got to be willing to get your feelings hurt. People aren't going to like you. People aren't going to like your performances. You may have a great audition here, but you may have a bad audition there, you know. And it's just a constant wave of going to audition after audition after audition, and it can be very mundane and boring and whatnot. So I loved kind of that look into the world, you know, the reality of it that a lot of times we don't really think about or pay attention to, because we look at all the glitz and glamour on top and all of the unbelievably attractive actors, you know. So as for the book itself, I had a really fun time reading this book. It's definitely a fun ride, I think. And as always, when it comes to a mystery thriller, I always really like trying to get a couple steps ahead of the protagonist. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. It kind of just depends, you know, on some of the twists and turns that are being taken. And yeah, there was never really a point in this novel that I was able to guess anything that was going to happen by the end of this book. There were a couple points in the book that I was thinking, oh, I think it might go this direction, but then something would happen, it would go the complete opposite direction of what I was thinking. Because I definitely had a couple different ideas of where the ending was going, but yeah, I was proven wrong every single time, which I guess is a good thing. I did find the book to have a really good pace to it. I think it moved quickly in places that it needed to move quickly, and then it kind of slowed down where it needed to. And the book is definitely tackling a lot. It's trying to balance a lot. Because there's the main mystery thriller element, because Mia Elliott, she goes to an audition, she meets another actress named Emily, and she does this little small favor for Emily to help her out with something. But the favor kind of takes a dark turn, in a sense, you know, kind of, let's go from there. So Emily all of a sudden disappears, and Mia has no idea where this woman has disappeared to, and does anyone realize she has disappeared? You know, it seems like Mia is the only one who realizes she has disappeared. So yeah, the whole novel is about Mia kind of trying to figure out where Emily has gone, and all of these dramatic twists and turns that kind of keep unraveling, and yeah, how Mia herself kind of gets wrapped up into all of this. So yeah, the book has to balance that, obviously, with the mystery thriller element, which is the bulk of the book. But it also balances just Mia's story in general, her as a character, her as a woman in Hollywood and whatnot. And I really liked Mia as the protagonist of this book. She's a British actress who has primarily done period dramas in the UK. She's very down to earth, very humble, which I find most British actors to be, you guys, very humble compared to their American counterparts. I find most American actors to be very arrogant and egotistical, and I don't ever really feel that way about British actors, to be quite honest. But yeah, Mia Elliott, she's also coming off of a bad breakup just before she comes to Los Angeles, so she kind of has that in the background, like, oh, my boyfriend left me, what did I do wrong, you know. And yeah, Mia as a character is also very obsessive, I guess is the right word. Obsessive in a couple different ways, because yeah, when Emily does disappear, she becomes very, very obsessed with this disappearance, you know, and she kind of gets involved where perhaps in reality she shouldn't be involved, you know. And then she's also just very obsessed with her career in some ways, you know, trying to be as picture perfect as she can, you know, give the best audition that she can, you know, she tries to control the littlest things as best she can. So yeah, as the main protagonist, I definitely really liked her as a character, I could support her, I could feel sympathy for her. There is a romance subplot with this book, which I almost wasn't really expecting. There's like is he like a producer or something? There's like a super attractive American producer that Mia kind of gets acquainted with, and they start up this romance. And yeah, the romance is just that. It is definitely a subplot. It's not like the big bulk of this book. You know, it's not a romance book. You know, this book knows what it is. It's a mystery thriller, and it keeps the romance as a subplot. It keeps it where it needs to be. And yeah, this American producer that Mia does get acquainted with and has a bit of a romance with and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, his character serves his function in perfect ways, I think, because a lot of times as things are really intensifying and heating up in this book, Mia really needs to have someone to support her and for someone that she can go to and vent out all of her anger and frustration to and whatnot. And yeah, that character, he definitely plays, I think, some pivotal roles in here in his own way. And then obviously the woman who disappears, Emily. I obviously can't talk about that and the direction all of that goes, but yeah, all of that story, definitely very intriguing. And as I said, I was never able to get a couple steps ahead of Mia and try to figure out the ending, because by the end of this book I was definitely like, oh wow, I was not expecting this ending. So yeah, I can't really talk about like the Emily story obviously and how she is as a character, because that would be spoiling things obviously. And just to go into I guess a quick warning with this book, because there may be some elements of this book that may be uncomfortable to certain readers. This book, it does take place in Hollywood. That should be a dead giveaway, that this book is going to have some maybe disturbing elements to it, involving some very uncomfortable sequences, because the book definitely handles the whole issue of like power and control, the abuse of power, especially from very powerful men in this business. So yeah, be warned, there are some a couple uncomfortable scenes in here that do deal with abuses of power, some of the powerful men in the business kind of doing some things they should not be doing. I'll kind of leave it at that because I don't want to spoil anything. And yeah, it's not just the men. I don't want it to come across like this book is targeting men specifically. I mean, men and women both equally, men and women. Hollywood, once again, it's a vicious place. It's a cutthroat world. There are the powerful men, of course, but there's also the very powerful women, or just female rivalry in the business, I guess. What some women are willing to do to get the roles that they want, you know? So yeah, this book is definitely dealing with a few little uncomfortable things. So overall, I highly enjoyed this book. I personally found it really fun and entertaining. I love the mystery thriller, you know, the main disappearance going on. I love the characters, the world building, if you will. I was definitely eagerly flipping page by page, you know, trying to see what was going to happen, because it's definitely a page turner, I think. I think the one unfortunate thing about this book is that I do feel like the conclusion of this book is perhaps a little too neatly tied up, if that makes sense. You know, just too neat of a perfect little bow tie. Because I think I was expecting more just ramifications, more fallout with this book, you know, just more wild and crazy things. But yeah, this book does have a rather just neatly tied up conclusion, which may be a little frustrating depending on you as a reader. So yeah, I definitely would like to check out Catherine Steadman's previous books, because I know she has written 2 other books prior to this. I'm just kind of curious her writing style, you know, more, because I really did like this book right here, so I'd definitely like to check out her other books, and I'm curious what she will produce next in the future. So you guys, that is it for my thoughts and feelings on The Disappearing Act by Catherine Steadman. In the comments below, have you guys read the book? If you did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you plan on reading it? Just let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.